Certain foods are known to actively lower our cholesterol beyond what we might usually expect thanks to certain properties of these foods. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the top 10 best foods to help you lower your cholesterol fast. These foods in particular are going to give you a really powerful boost to help lower that bad LDL cholesterol. This is going to lower your risk for cardiovascular disease and lower your risk for adverse events like heart attacks and strokes. So if lowering our cholesterol is a goal and we want to live a long, healthy life, then we want to be including these foods in our diet regularly. Let's go, friend. Now, the first food here is going to be oats. Now, oats are a fantastic whole grain and they're perfect for breakfast. In fact, I did a whole video about how I use oats for breakfast, the oatmeal approach. You can watch that up here or link in the description if you like, just to make them tasty and amazing. But when you've made oatmeal, you'll notice it gets kind of sticky and a little bit gel-like and almost slimy. Slimy is not a very nice word, but a little bit sticky and gel-like. And that is because oats contain a particular type of soluble fiber called beta-glucan. And this beta-glucan soluble fiber is able to lower our LDL bad cholesterol. And it's thought that this could be because that soluble fiber allows more of our cholesterol to be excreted from our body and prevents it being absorbed into our bloodstream. So eating these foods that are rich in soluble fiber regularly can really help to lower our cholesterol. And oats are actually one of the very few foods that have been actively shown, scientifically proven, to lower our bad LDL cholesterol. So we want to be getting these in on a regular basis. The number 2 food is going to be similar again to oats, another whole grain, but this one might perhaps be a little bit better for lunch or dinner, and that's going to be barley. Barley, again, rich in that soluble fiber. It's going to transit through our gut and help to keep our bad cholesterol low. Now, barley does have a lot of gluten in it, so if you're gluten intolerant, then stick with the oats, but if you're not, then have a mix of oats and barley. Third food on this list is going to be our first vegetable. But again, it's aside from being rich in lots of other nutrients, it does have plenty of that soluble fiber. This is going to be eggplant or aubergine if you're in Europe like I am. And you'll see this when you cook aubergine. It kind of takes on this kind of gooey sort of texture, and that's indicative of the soluble fiber found in it. So try and use a little bit more eggplant in your evening meals, and that will give you that little extra boost to lower your cholesterol that little bit further. The fourth food here is going to be garlic. Now, I just love the taste of garlic, so there's great reasons to be eating it all over the place. It seems to have antibacterial properties, it's fantastic. But it also seems to be really quite powerful in reducing our cholesterol. And studies have shown that garlic is able to lower our total cholesterol number by anywhere between 7 and 30 milligrams per deciliter. This is a really substantial amount, so we definitely want to be getting a little bit of extra garlic in to help lower our cholesterol. The fifth food on this list is going to be all kinds of soy products. So we're thinking of things like edamame beans, tofu, and also tempeh. Tempeh it's similar to tofu, but it's a slightly more whole food version of it. It's like the soybeans are all kind of pressed together into a block and then fermented. So tempeh may have additional benefits of having some probiotics in there as well. So soy has a particular antioxidant known as isoflavone. And this is thought to be the responsible compound that helps soy to lower our cholesterol. So try incorporating plenty of different soy in whatever format you like it best into your meals on a regular basis. The sixth food is not really one, it's kind of a whole class of food, but that's going to be beans in general, and also chickpeas and lentils. So chickpeas, lentils, black beans, pinto beans, adzuki beans, black-eyed beans, borlotti beans, there's loads of them. But they are a really, really nutritious powerhouse food. There's lots of solid fiber, but also a lot of soluble fiber in beans. And you can see this. So for instance, in vegan baking and cooking sometimes, you might come across an ingredient called aquafaba. This is essentially the water from a can of chickpeas. So if you drain off whatever the liquid is in a can of chickpeas, that's aquafaba. And you'll notice it's quite thick and kind of gelatinous. That's because a lot of that soluble fiber from the chickpeas has come out into that water. And so for baking and stuff, it's great for binding things together, and you can even like fluff it up into something similar to a meringue. But for our arteries, it's fantastic as well because it's going to help lower that cholesterol. Not to mention, beans have lots of antioxidants, like lots of polyphenols, pretty high in protein as well. So an all-round great food. Get plenty of beans in. The number 7 food here is going to be tomatoes. So tomatoes gain their vibrant red color from a particular nutrient that's very brightly red colored called lycopene. This is one of the carotenoid class of nutrients. And this lycopene is thought to be the responsible agent for helping tomatoes and other lycopene-containing foods to lower our cholesterol. Now this is great because lycopene is so brightly coloured, it's really easy to see. You can just use your eyes. So tomatoes, but also things like watermelon and red bell peppers, these also are quite rich in lycopene. So get plenty of these lycopene-containing foods into your diet. Get plenty of tomatoes, and they're just fantastic, they're just delicious. Number 8 food for lowering our cholesterol is almonds. And also some other nuts like walnuts and pistachios too. Now, this might seem a little bit counterintuitive because nuts are high in fat. Tends to be predominantly unsaturated fat in nuts, although there is a little bit of saturated fat in there. And saturated fat is one of the food constituents that is thought to actually raise our cholesterol. So this is a little bit of a conundrum. But it's thought that a particular type of nutrient called sterols, found concentrated in nuts, in particular almonds, really does help to bring our cholesterol down. So we actually see that the net effect of eating nuts is a very beneficial effect on our cholesterol. So we shouldn't be concerned about eating a handful of nuts here and there for our cholesterol and indeed our weight. So definitely sprinkle some almonds or pistachios over your next meal. The 9th cholesterol lowering food is okra. This is also called lady's fingers, you might see it called as, because of the sort of long, quite delicate tapering shape of them. And it's quite an odd looking vegetable. It's commonly used in Indian cuisine, so you'll see it in Indian restaurants used quite a lot. And it has this sort of quite geometric sort of structure inside. It's a little bit unusual, but a really delicious food. And you'll notice when you're sort of cutting it up, it's actually kind of sticky and gooey between your fingers. Again, because okra is very rich in soluble fiber. Definitely something we want to be having on a regular basis. Okra kind of gets forgotten about a little bit. It doesn't get used that regularly, but certainly if we want to be seeing our cholesterol coming down, use a little bit more, and it's delicious too. The 10th and final food on this list is actually a few foods. It's a few different fruits. We've got apples, grapes, strawberries, and also citrus fruits like oranges and grapefruits. Now these contain another type of soluble fiber. This one's called pectin. So this is concentrated in these fruits. And similar to the other soluble fibers that we've talked about, that's also going to help transit through our gut and prevent that cholesterol absorption. So these fruits are, obviously they are really sweet. They're a lovely thing to have maybe as a dessert, or I have them with my oatmeal quite often. Really, really good for that. So have plenty of these fruits, and these are another thing that will help our cholesterol to start coming down. Now, it is worth pointing out that the foods that you don't eat are kind of more important than the ones you do. So if you're still eating foods that are going to raise your cholesterol, these foods are probably going to have a limited effect. So it's really important to cut out some of the foods that are actively raising your cholesterol. And if you want to know what those are, I did a video explaining the 10 worst foods to eat if you have high cholesterol. You can watch that up here, or there's a link down in the description below. Now, you probably don't need me to tell you, but high cholesterol is risky. It really does increase our risk for heart disease and other cardiovascular conditions. So if we can bring our cholesterol down, it's one of the best things that we can do for our health. And to a very large extent, our cholesterol is going to be determined by what we eat, by our dietary pattern. So this is really good news. We've got a lot of power here to take our cholesterol under control and start to bring it down. And if we can avoid some of the worst offenders, some of the worst foods for raising it, and include these 10 foods that are going to help bring it down, we should be well on our way to reducing our risk and living a long, healthy life with lovely, clear, free-flowing arteries. Now, friend, I want to offer you a gift for being here with me today and spending your precious time with me. I have a very short summary of the key things that you need to know to help lower your cholesterol naturally. This is a one-page guide that's going to give you the key reminders, some of the key foods that you should be avoiding and eating, and also some of the targets that we need to be aiming for and how to get there. So if that would be helpful to you, you can get that totally for free. Just click on the link in the description below. It is all yours, friend. I've been Dr. Ryan Williams, your host and the founder of Growing Pure, where I help you achieve health and vitality through delicious vegan food. Now, if you're thinking about how you might be able to actually combine some of these foods and use them in your kitchen, in your day-to-day life, I've created a recipe that's sort of an ultimate cholesterol lowering recipe that contains many of the ingredients I've talked about in this list, all in one recipe. And if you would like to watch that, I've created a video on it, and you can click right here to watch that. Friend, I want to thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.